This is Jeff Dabe from Stacy. We're going to call him Jeff. And no, this photo is not altered. Those are his hands and his arms, and they are big.
His left fist is more than 17 inches around. His ring finger is 5 inches in circumference. Well, okay, let's start with this. Let's turn so the camera can see. My hand versus your hand. Well, how did you get such big hands and arms?
I was born this way.
Yeah?
With a little bit bigger arms and hands, and it just kind of stayed the same as I grew up. I also grew up on a farm, so I used to do a lot of farm chores. And
Wait, so like as a baby, you
Yes.
came out and your parents were like, oh, he's got really big hands and
Yep.
arms. Okay, how old are you here?
Probably about 10, 11.
Do you know why you have such large hands?
I went to a bunch of doctors, and they did a bunch of tests, and they never really come up with any conclusions. I do not have gigantism or elephantitis, and that's kind of the first thing they tested for. Otherwise, they didn't really have any kind of clues.
Look at you as a little guy here.
Oh, cute picture.
Like, as a kid, were you embarrassed about it? Did you feel different? No?
No, I was always that way, so it's never no different for me, you know.
Yeah.
It never bothered me. There's nothing I couldn't do.
Do you run into people that have big arms like this?
But usually they're 400-pound guys, you know, big guys.
Oh, yeah?
You know, 6'6" or 4, and just big guys.
I love that you're taking them down. Look at that. Look at the champ. Did you ever lose arm wrestling?
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm getting old for the sport. I'll be 61 in June. So.
Oh my gosh, you don't look 61.
And, a lot of the people I pull in their mid-30s and 30s, and so.
Can you train to be an arm wrestler? How do you train to be an arm
Yeah, you
wrestler?
can train. There's different techniques. You know, nowadays with the internet, there's so much to look up. You can find different ways of training.
We've got a couple items we want to just sort of get a comparison.
You can palm a full-size basketball. Mm-hmm. When were you able to do this? Were you
You can do it in school.
in school as a kid?
Junior and stuff, yeah.
It looks like a mini basketball.
Yeah.
Because I can palm a basketball, but my hand doesn't look like that.
I cannot palm a basketball.
Oh
Not
my
even
gosh,
close.
that's great. Okay, the Minnesota Live mug.
Okay.
You could shoot a Minnesota moment. We get one of those mugs.
I can't. I couldn't get 2 fingers in the handle, so.
Are there challenges from having such large hands?
The hardest part is just finding clothes to fit right and gloves.
Gloves.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
what do you do for gloves? Do you have them custom made?
There's a lady that made me some knitted ones.
Yeah.
Just like chopper style.
Yeah.
And they're really nice. But otherwise, growing up, I just learned not to wear gloves. Put them in your pockets. And
We're
I don't
fascinated
know.
by all these things that we. Now that's crazy. Look at the can of Coke. Could you? Your hands? They got to be strong. Like they're strong too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to find
you
out in a
crush
second.
that?
We arm wrestle,
No.
but
No. Do you work out?
No.
Just the farm life,
the
which is
farm.
like working out every day.
Yeah.
Do you
have-
I do band work. Just with like the bands.
Yeah, the rubber bands.
Just more endurance.
Okay.
Because the heavier weights get so hard in the joints, especially as you get older. You
Yeah.
know? So I just do more endurance.
How's texting?
I can do it. I have a flip phone that I use.
What?
Still use a flip phone.
Hold on a second. We're just changing the topic of this discussion. You have how old is that thing?
This one's only a couple years old, but they can still get these.
Yeah.
It's just easier to text on this instead of like the iPad.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
There's
Sure.
a little,
That makes
Okay.
sense.
even though I got to hit the numbers a couple times, it's just easier.
So you guys,
Also, by the stuff I do, I drop it a lot. So
That makes sense.
you guys have a farm.
yes.
And some of the allure of your social media following is you're doing farm stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of stuff?
We have the mini horses, little mini ponies, and then we also have a koi pond. So between the koi pond and the horses, it's just kind of a little variety for everyone.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, we're showing some of your property here. That's beautiful.